Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to show you guys how you can create a nice, new, natural, everyday look with as little cost as possible. So I'm going to start off with a primer. I use the Manhattan Perfect and Protect Primer. It costs €5.65, but for me it's very important to make sure that my skin is healthy and protected, especially when I'm putting on more than a little bit of makeup. So what I like to do is I like to just apply a little bit to my index finger and just blob it all over my cheeks and my chin, my nose and my forehead. So you don't really need any special brushes for this, you just blend it in, make sure it's nice and covered. You don't want to make sure that there's no streaks left because it'll show otherwise and it may interfere with the makeup that you put on top of it. So you just keep on rubbing that in, rubbing it. Okay, right, so now that we've got our primer on, we're going to move on to the concealer. So next I'm going to use the Superstay 24-Hour Primer by Maybelline, and I'm going to just apply it under my eyes and to any blemishes on my skin. And then I'm going to use the Beauty Blender to just buff it all into my skin. The fun part. So when you're covering things like spots, which I have two of today, you don't have to worry about blending it in all too much because your foundation is going to go over it and it'll give you that extra coverage, because I feel like sometimes if I completely blend out the concealer on any blemishes on my skin, it goes back to that nasty red and it kind of comes through again, which we really don't want to have. So just don't worry too much about blending this all in because the foundation is going to do that for you. So speaking of foundation, foundation is going to come next. I use the Superstay by Maybelline again. This came in a pack together with the concealer and it cost me altogether €9.95, which I think is a pretty okay price for two products in one. I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand like so, and then I'm going to blend all of this out, and if I need any more you can go back and grab more and put it on your hand. But I like to do this instead of applying it straight to your face because you never know how much you'll need, you never know what could go wrong. Okay. And I actually prefer to use a beauty blender than a brush because I just feel like the beauty blender gives you a lot more coverage and it allows you to really push the product in exactly where you want it and give it a lot more detail. I feel like whenever I use a brush for my foundation, it tends to get very streaky and not give me the coverage that I really want, which my beauty blender absolutely does. So I am a die-hard beauty blender fan. Okay, I'm just going to grab a little bit more of it again, of the product, and again do the exact same thing, just squirt a bit on the back of my hand and keep reapplying, or keep applying. Okay, so I also like to make sure you get down under your chin because otherwise you have that really awkward line that goes right along your chin area and you look like something wrong has happened. I also like to try and take it a little bit further out to the ears because otherwise you get just exactly the same lovely line that occurs right along the side of your face, and we don't want to be looking like we've got half of our face painted and half not. Okay. Try not to get your fringe into it like me because, you know, black and foundation not the best combination to go for, but you know, we do what we can with what we got. Right, okay, so now that we've got this going and we've got our general coverage everywhere. What I like to just do is keep going, use the other side of the beauty blender and just buff it all back in, because sometimes you get those spots where it's a little bit shiny, which you really don't want to have. So I just feel like if you just go back in there and blot it all out, so to say, with the other end, it makes it matte a lot better, a lot faster, which is definitely what we want. So I'm just gonna quickly put my hair back so that we don't get any more product into our hair, because it really isn't the look that we're going for today. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of color to the face. So I'm using the Catrice Sun Glow bronzer. And the trick with bronzer, I feel, is to do just a little bit of bronzer at a time, because otherwise you kind of look like you've just fallen in a puddle of mud, and it's not exactly what we're going for right now. So the trick with this is just take a little bit on the brush. Always make sure that you get any excess off by just tapping it either against your wrist or against the product, and then we're just gonna dab that in like so, and keep going there. Okay, right. Okay. Right, because you can always, my idea is you can always add more of a product, but you can't really wipe any of it away once it's on there. So it's best to just put a little bit on and blend it out. Blending is your best friend, okay? You want to blend this stuff in, otherwise you're just gonna have a line. But for right now, what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna use it lightly and make sure it's all blended in very nice. Okay, so now that I've got the products on there, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna blend. I like to blend in circular motions because I feel like that kind of helps to blend it in and get it where it needs to be, especially when you're blending the forehead. You should blend upwards towards your hairline rather than down, because otherwise it will make your forehead a lot smaller. If you have a big forehead, that's great. If you have a tiny forehead like mine, you kind of want to keep it the size it's at. So it's best to just blend it up towards your hairline. Right, okay. So next we're going to add the blush. So for the blush, I decided to take the RdeL Young Mono Rouge. This cost me €1.99, so I think that's a very good, cheap price, which goes well with our budget. So when you're adding blush, similarly to with bronzer, again, start with a little amount, a small amount, and build up if you need to. Okay. Another very important tip while I'm doing this is that when you are applying your blush, you should not go past these lines here. If you go past those lines with anything, blush or bronzer, especially the blush, it looks like you've got a rash on your face rather than a nice bit of blush to it. So stick with your cheek and not go any further. Okay. Okay, cool. Right, so we don't want it to be, again, it's a natural look. We don't want it to be too extreme. Moving on, we're going to start with, we're going to go to the highlighter now. This product cost me €2.99. Again, I think that's a really good price for a budget look. Right, so we're just going to take a little bit on our brush, and we're going to go right on the highest point of your face, right there. And then you're just going to, again, make sure that's blended in. You don't want a really solid line there. You want it to be nice and blended in. And then you go the same thing on the side again. Okay, so next I'm going to move up to the eye portion of my face, and I'm going to start with my eyebrows. So I'm using the Intense Eyeliner by RdeL, and it cost me €1.35, which again isn't that bad. So I'm using an eyeliner simply because for my eyebrows I like to use wax rather than a pencil. When you go in here, I like to start at the arch of your eyebrow and just move down nice and slowly, very light, small strokes You don't want to get it too, you don't want to look like you've got block eyebrows. You want to make sure they look nice and natural. You don't want to go too overboard with them. And don't worry if you mess up a little, because eyebrows are difficult. Another very important tip for when you do your eyebrows is that once you've done a portion of your eyebrow, do not go back and redo it. Just leave it as is. They're not supposed to be perfect, okay? But trust me, if you just go back and keep trying to fill it in, they're gonna look a lot worse. I've been there, I've tried that, and it looked awful. So now that your eyebrows are done, don't freak out, especially if you do your eyebrows first like I do. It's gonna look really intense at first, but it'll look a lot nicer once you've got your eye look all together. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the eyeshadow. For the eyeshadow, I took the Catrice Nude Blossom Cosmetics, which I think is really great for a nude, simple, everyday look. This cost me €4.95 for the fact that you get 7 different colours, plus a sculpting and a light colour width. I think that's great value for price. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off using the lightest colour here to just blend in all over the eye colour. That's going to be my base for the look. Okay, so you go all the way here. Don't worry about if it's looking patchy because we're going to blend it out in a second. Right, so next we're going to move on to this really nice pink colour right here. It's the reason I bought the palette. I thought it was really beautiful. And we're going to put this on the main portion of your eyelid right here. Just pack it on. We're going to blend it out in a minute. Okay, and I'm just going to blend that out. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the exact same colour and we're going to blend it out under the waterline, because I really think it pulls the eye look together. So, again, I'm going to take a little bit. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go in with this colour and we're just going to lightly highlight our crease just to give the eye a little bit of definition. And I'm going to just blend that all in again. Now that our eyes are finished, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to take this light shade right here and we're going to go directly under our eyebrows just to make sure that they're really nice and defined. So now that we've got the colour on our eyes, what we're going to do is we're going to go in with the mascara. So the mascara that I chose was the Catrice Cosmetics All Round, and this cost me €2.95, which again I think is good value for money. So I personally like to start off by curling my eyelashes, and then I'll go in with my mascara. So I personally like to also put mascara on my lower lashes, but that's a preference thing. You can put mascara on how you would normally put it on. Okay, cool. So now that we've got our eyes done, our face done, the very last thing we're going to put on is our lipstick. So the lipsticks I chose was from Catrice Cosmetics again, in the colour Activate. I think this is a really great colour. It's a nice kind of nudie pink look and it cost me $3.25. Okay, so that's the look. If you want to add maybe a little bit of lip gloss, it just depends on whether you're a lip gloss fan or not. If not, you can just keep it the way it is. Okay, so this is my look up close. As you can see, we stayed pretty much very neutral, very light on all of the bronzer and blush. You can see a nice highlighter right there, and I really like this look. I think the best thing with this look is that you can build on it. So if you want a bit more of a stronger look, or you want to add a bit more colour to either the lips or the eyes, it's really great to do that with. All of the links for the products that I used today are in the description box below, as well as my Twitter and my Instagram accounts, and some other YouTube channels that I've been checking out if you want to go check them out and have a look what they're doing. So thank you guys for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next video, and please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Bye!